All right, so I'm really excited for today's video because it's actually about a topic that, of course, I love talking about. So today we're going to talk about wedding planning, but specifically what I want to do is talk about the 5 things that you should look out for when we talk about reception. So your reception venue is obviously one of the most important things, right? A majority of your photos are going to come from there. A ton of people will be eating there. There's a lot that's going on, but you want to make sure that there are questions that you ask before you just jump right in. So the very first thing that you want to figure out right off the bat when you're talking about your reception venue and you're trying to figure out from all of these places, you want to go in and you want to ask how you're getting charged. So normally you're getting charged either per head, by hour, or a flat rate. So those are all really important that you understand right off the bat. Are you going to get charged per each person that's sitting at a table? Are you getting charged per the hour? So if you're having, a 12 to 5, if you're having a 6 to midnight, and you want to know if you're having a flat rate. So some places will have a rate that just covers for whatever the time frame is, this is what you're paying. Those are super important because it definitely can make a huge difference in what you're paying for. For me, with my reception venue, we are getting charged per head. So basically that means that each person that comes in, we are getting charged for each person. So say each plate is $90 a plate. Every person that comes in is at $90, right? So that's something that you want to know because that's definitely really different than them saying, hey, you're maybe getting charged $15,000 flat rate for every single person that comes in no matter what. The second thing that you want to find out is exactly what's included in that price. So whether it's a flat rate, whether it's per head, per hour, you want to know what is actually included in that. A lot of things that people actually might not know is that they might not have a sound system. They might not have microphones. Things as simple as like your silverware, your glassware, your plates even, those aren't always included in your price. So when they say, hey, it's going to cost you $90 a person for each person that comes in, you want to make sure that each one of those people has something to eat on, something to eat with, and a glass to drink out of, right? So you want to make sure of those things. Also making sure that you know whether or not the tablecloth is included. You want to make sure that you know whether the seat cover is included. Those are all things that it's totally okay to ask about, and I asked about every single one of them. It's definitely really huge to get that information up front because 1, it's easier for you to incorporate in your budget. 2, it's definitely better to have an idea of how much it costs, even at an estimated price before, so that you know whether or not you can even afford the reception venue, whether or not the venue is even worth it for you, right? All of that stuff is really important. So don't be afraid to ask what's actually incorporated in that price. The third thing that you want to ask is what the backup plan is for the weather, right? So you want to make sure that if you're expecting to have your reception, your ceremony, whatever the case is outside, you want to know exactly what the backup plan is for if it rains, what if it snows, what if there's some type of weather where people can't actually be outside, right? Some places, their backup plan is umbrellas. Their backup plan is you have to get a tent. And that's also a huge thing where you want to be aware of that beforehand. If you need to have a rental company basically sitting on standby, you want to make sure that you know that, right? And those are huge things that you should look out well before you actually book your reception. So for us, luckily, we know that if anything were to happen and it rains on our day, we would actually be able to go inside, and where our dance floor and dinner area is, it gets completely changed into a ceremony area and we can go there. Essentially, when cocktail hour happens, everyone switches out. We go into the cocktail hour area, and then from there, we're able to move back into the dinner and dance floor area once everything is swapped out. That process is really quick, and most of these receptions know how to do it within 20 to 30 minutes flat. So it's not something huge to be overly concerned about. It's just definitely something that you want to know ahead of time. The fourth thing that I actually think might even sound a little bit silly is knowing how many bathrooms there are and how many bathrooms are available to you. So I say it like that because some venues have multiple weddings happening at the same time. So the big thing is that you want to be aware of how many bathrooms are available to you and your guests so that there isn't like a line. So for example, if you are having a 500 person wedding, You definitely don't want to only have 2 bathrooms. That might not work out. There might be a line, there might be a lot of people waiting, and things like that don't work well. So asking how many bathrooms there are, and even if there are attendants that will be able to be in the bathroom and help the process kind of move a little bit faster by handing out towels and things like that, also definitely something important to look onto. The 5th and final thing that I wanted to talk about, and it's definitely like a really big one, is knowing what restrictions your reception venue has. So some places might not restrict a lot. Some places could restrict a whole ton. So asking those questions right off the bat is definitely really helpful. Knowing whether there are sound restrictions, how loud things can be, knowing whether there are decor restrictions, right? If you can hang certain things up or not. Even some reception venues have very specific dress codes that you have to meet. You want to be aware of those type of things ahead of time. Also, if you plan on doing a grand exit, a lot of people, they like to do like sparklers, maybe fireworks, right? All of those things are possibly restricted by the state that you live in, by the town that you live in, even possibly by the reception venue itself. So you definitely want to be aware of those things first, so that if you know that you absolutely are unwilling to give up, having a really loud wedding with a ton of music and a ton of things going on inside and outside, then maybe somewhere that gives you a sound restriction isn't really the best place for that. So that was my 5 things on reception venues. I hope that it was helpful for you guys, or I hope that you at least learned something or picked something up. For me, I sat here and I took notes and I consistently wrote things down, and it made all the difference for me. All of these questions were things that I actually asked my reception venue and got very strict answers to, which made the difference in me planning. So let me know if you like it in the comments below, and let me know if you want me to continue with this series. And I hope you enjoyed it. So until the next time, stay safe and much love.